Listen to the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah on Spotify. The End of Times series, part 1. So, I came up with this new series that I'm going to talk about, which is titled The End of Times or Signs of the End of Times. So, basically, I'm going to be talking about new spiritual warfare that is happening right now from the demonic side or the devil and his demons that work with him. What they're doing over there in the spiritual world and how it's manifesting and happening here in this world today. A lot of the things you're seeing today that you would say is a global dysfunction is actually that spiritual warfare. Anytime human beings are seeing evil and anytime they're seeing suffering is actually from the devil, except natural things like the weather. Only God can create things like that. And that could either be punishment from God or just, that sort of trial as well. Is not always punishment. It depends. Only God knows. So, and that's usually how God, will take people's lives away, since God usually creates ways to actually take your life, when your time is up. So humans can do evil and take people's life away, which is the sin that they're committing. They, took something they have no right to take, someone's life. Okay, that's evil. Or God himself, the time that he ordained you to die, he's going to create ways for you to die, such as disease. Again, the disease sometimes can come from the demonic. They can cause you illnesses. We'll talk about that another time. But God usually would create disease. He would create natural disasters. So you might just think, oh, that's just a difficulty. That's just a test. No, technically, God is trying to create a reason to take your life. Your time is up. So understand, a lot of people, therefore, are supposed to die when natural disasters happen. It's not that humans didn't work hard enough to prevent it. There's nothing they can do to prevent it in that situation because God actually wants those people to die. So, which is how sometimes you see miraculous situations where some people who were in the exact same situation didn't die while others die. That's because those ones were supposed to die, okay? Their time is up. So, there's going to be a lot of suffering and a lot of evil that is going to happen due to that suffering, that is due to the spiritual warfare, that is due to the demon, you know, not demons, sorry, the devil and, other demons working together to basically attack the human race a little bit stronger than in the past because the world is about to end soon. So the world is not going to end like sort of like really soon or right now. There's going to be a lot of things that have to take place first. Religious groups like Christianity and Islam, have some of that sort of examples of things that first would happen, since the Bible was the original book that God Almighty sent down. It's just not the original anymore. It got corrupted, which then created a new false religion, a new name, such as Christianity. So then God sent down his religion again, which is Islam. And then when it came back again, with a new prophet, Muhammad, then it got corrupted again. But Muslims are not admitting to it because the religious preachers right now are the hypocrites. They're the ones working for Satan. And they're going to get exposed very soon, so don't worry about that. And they're all demonically possessed. So for that reason, you're not going to see them telling you the truth. The same way they say that, the Bible and Christianity overall, that original religion got corrupted of God Almighty, that then became Christianity. They're so confident to tell you that, but they're not confident to tell you, this religion got corrupted as well. So I am still using encryption. I don't have God's permission yet to be, direct that, Islam got corrupted. So I'm the first person to actually say that right now, the first Muslim, because I'm the first one, okay? Like, no one is going to say that too because they're all misguided. The rest are evil and possessed, so they don't care. And the corruption Islam is the perversions and the sexisms that are in it, okay? So all that stuff is false. It's from the devil, and I'm trying to show it to you slowly, the psychology of it, so that then you can see it is false. Okay, so this is about the end of the World Series, so I'm just going to go on with that for now. The information where I talk about spiritual wisdoms that are unknown that God Almighty has taught me through making the devil and demons follow me before I was even born. I upload that on my Spotify podcast, Healing Guides. So do join me there because I'm creating different series and I'm going to categorize them by their name on YouTube so it's easier. But on Spotify, everything's just going to be there. Okay, so this new level of spiritual warfare, a lot of it are things that I already was experiencing all these years from demons attacking my life using humans they are possessing, which is why possessing humans is so important to the devil, which is why he makes human beings very sinful and go against God. You just think it's because he just likes that. No, he wants to possess you. A lot of the bigger sins that you would do, such as if you become perverted, if you become, like just a very hateful and envious person, like you are going to get possessed. I don't care if you're perverted to the same gender or you're going somewhere else and you're even more harmful and you're perverted to the same gender and children, etc. A pervert is the same. A pervert is just a pervert. So they just get worse and worse, but they're the same. So those things get you possessed. And you would agree today, majority of the human race is highly hypersexual, perverted, promiscuous. Okay, they got possessed. I'm sorry, you got possessed. God doesn't think that's something normal. But the devil wants to perpetuate that nonsense using these evil, possessed, misogynist males who like to act like examples for you in that gender, always perpetuating this nonsense that it's manliness to be with all these females, blah, 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 blah. That's the devil talking, okay? That's how they get you possessed. God doesn't like that nastiness. He's a God that likes purity, you being with one person. Okay, so anyways, as I was saying, this new level of spiritual warfare, a lot of the things that happened already, I talked about it personally, what I went through, a lot of housing and a lot of unemployment. So this episode, I'm going to talk about, part one, like the first example. So COVID is definitely something the devil is behind. Only God knows exactly who and what caused it. So it's not good to say you know something you don't know. So I don't know specifically, how they did it, but definitely they created a situation where that virus could be created. To me, it doesn't seem something natural from God himself. Okay, so either way, regardless of who and which being is behind it, it's still being used by the devil for his agenda. The agenda is to cause financial attack on the human race. So he wants to use it to cause homelessness and unemployment. And for those who are like business owners who don't work for others, they're going to ruin their businesses. How the devil does that is use COVID to lock everyone else in their home. Okay, now people are losing their jobs. Many companies have gone remote. Now they're losing their businesses. They're losing their big corporations. No one is there. It's empty. Therefore, if a building is empty like that, things happen. Okay, it has to be um, taken down or sold, or something has to happen. You can't just leave it empty like that because there's landlords that need it to be rented, and no one's renting it. So it's gonna then, make the landlord use it for something else because they're just obsessed with money. So then that's gonna cause, right, that company's actual corporate building now to be completely out of the way. They're not gonna have it anymore if they want to come back. So it's gonna be that chaos. Okay, and then okay, so people are losing their jobs like that. Only sort of the low level jobs like delivery drivers, food, workers like McDonald's might be open, but technically big companies have closed down. Some of them are starting to open, yes, but the devil is going to find other ways to shut them down. That's the thing. He's going to find a way to shut it down. So I said that some of these things are things that I went through myself, and now it's going to happen to the rest of the human race as a way for them to be suffering from spiritual attacks like I did all these years. And that was me being followed by demons all my life, where they always took away my jobs. They always got me fired by lying about me, and then they got me to be homeless like 3 times. So that now is going to be what human beings like you are going to have to experience. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to go through that now, because whatever I was suffering by myself, for only God knows. There's some reasons why I know why demons follow me. But whatever God was trying to teach me is going to happen to his creation soon. He put me through it first. So, so that I would understand it and offer help one day. So anyways, that homelessness and that unemployment is going to hit everyone. Okay, even people you think are not going to be impacted, like the wealthy. No, the devil's going to find a way, such as exposing, since a lot of them are very dangerous criminals, highly perverted, harmful human beings. They use money obviously to traffic human beings or get sacrificed. They do weird harmful things. Okay, they treat the human being like some weird filthy object. Okay, and they filthy themselves and do weird nonsense and disgusting nasty things. A lot of that stuff is going to get exposed. Okay, or corruptions they do, like maybe with money, like taxes, how they maybe cheat. Okay, and then they're going to now lose their jobs like that. You see what I mean? But some of those human beings who are evil and wealthy, of course the devil is going to keep them in that way, since they got money from him by him cheating to give them that money. They did crime or sin against God and human beings in order to get wealth. Since they're not good people, they didn't get money by hard working. Those humans do a lot of sin in order to get the devil to help them with money, because they sell their soul. Okay, so some of them he's going to keep them where they are, because he needs them in those sort of places of wealth in order to use them for other purposes to then do evil to the world. But a lot of them, they're going to have to lose their jobs. A lot of these political individuals that you think would never ever be impacted, now they're going to start getting impacted. They're going to start getting exposed, going to jail, prison. They're going to start attacking each other, exposing each other. Humans usually that are always protected, from being exposed by the devil, using his manipulative ways to hide their crimes or sin. Now he's going to expose a lot of them, okay? Because he just wants as many as he can to just get off the sort of financial stability. Okay, so business owners are going to lose their businesses due to vandalism and theft, okay? There's just going to be way too much of that. And God already showed me that, because before this stuff happened nationally and internationally, I was being gang stalked by demons, meaning it's only happening in my area. It's not going to happen anywhere else. So I would see demons possessing mobs of youth. They're going to use youth a lot. And all these youth would go to stores and they come out, and all of a sudden a cop has to be at that store. That means they did some crime. So, and before they even committed the crime, because you would say that that's actually when it's happening nationally, right? Okay, I'll give a better example. I would just see mobs of youth walking around a lot by demons possessing them to stalk me. And God was telling me that they're being used to be criminals now. They're going to commit a lot of crime, such as assault and theft and attacking people. A lot of them will obviously do things like murder. So I just was seeing that they weren't doing any crime yet. They were just sort of like the time that they were preparing themselves to just walk around society, before you guys ever heard about them in the news. I was being exposed to how they were like plotting what they're going to do. So I was like, what is this nonsense? Why am I constantly being stalked by demons using a lot of youth this time? Because they would change their tactics. First, it was just individuals, but then they started to use families and then children, and then they started to use mobs of youth. So, the groups that they use each time, God was trying to teach me the psychology of how demons are using them each time. So the youth are going to be mobs, okay? They're going to work together a lot. And that's not actually youth coming together. That's demons coming together, wanting to use these unguided and misguided children, who don't have any guidance morally and socially. They're going to just use them to just be violent to the world, okay? They have nothing better to do anyway. A lot of them have no school. But obviously, that's not the reason. That's just because they're possessed and demons now want to use them this way, okay? It doesn't mean they couldn't be used like that in past human history. It's just that the demons now, the humans they've been possessing all throughout human history, now they actually want to use them to do these things, okay? So for people who, are not going to get unemployed because of, jobs and stuff like that, because maybe they own their homes, the devil is coming up with wildfires. He's using humans who are possessed, just like the humans I see every day who are possessed, walking around me, harassing me. They're going to just be used to go and burn a wild, trees or whatever, wildfire, create wildfires basically. And it's going to now impact homes. So that's another way he's going to try to get you to lose your home. No matter what, there's going to be a way that you see you're going to lose your home, no matter your financial condition. Join me in the next episodes for the End of the World series. Take care of yourselves. Listen to the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah on Spotify. The End of the World series, part 2. Okay, so here's sign number 2 that the world is about to end. In the spiritual warfare that is being attacked with the world right now from the devil and the demonic side overall, basically, this isn't to say that the world is going to end now. It just means this is level 1. Okay, spiritual warfare level 1. Probably going to be a couple more levels, and then you're going to see the bigger signs that you usually hear from religion like Christianity and Islam. Then you're going to actually see those bigger things when all of us are obviously not here at that time. That's way, way in the future. And those humans are going to, have to experience more serious and more dangerous situations. And usually the worst of the human race is going to be alive at that time. So a lot of the humans today who you would say have some decent morality, they're not going to be there at the end of the world, because the most horrible human beings are going to be the worst of the sinners are going to be on the face of the earth. Again, today, a lot of the human beings who pretend to be decent are the worst of the sinners. They're just hiding their crime. Okay, so just think of it that way. Like, they're just going to be exposed. They're going to be more comfortable to just go around society being perverts and doing all big crimes, and there's going to be less, punishment, because the world is going to go down. It's not going to have this sort of stable stability that it has now in terms of governance. So crime is just going to be abundant at the end of the world, and there's going to be sort of this extreme lawlessness because there's just no, average human who had some sort of basic morality to stop them, okay? And then that's really when God is going to send down bigger and bigger scary things down to destroy them, okay? And only God knows how that's going to happen. We don't say things that we don't know. We're not supposed to do that. So that's a humbleness that I want all of you to have. Study and research and gain knowledge, but don't ever talk about something you don't know. A lot of religious preachers, obviously, especially in Islam, do talk about things they don't know. Do use books that human beings wrote down, like it's called hadiths. There's no evidence, but they just use it. It's man-made. You're not supposed to follow things that are man-made, especially about people who died, like a prophet, someone so important. But they follow that stuff, okay? And that's how the devil is using those religious preachers, those hypocrites. A lot of them are possessed to just perpetuate nonsense about people who died that no one knows what happened to them. And they're used to perpetuate the perversion and the sexism that is added into Islam, which is the falsehood. So since I'm Muslim, I have to keep reinstating that so you actually know where my stance is. That stuff is false, and God will take it out very soon. So I'm exposed to demons following me ever since before I was born for various reasons. And some of them is that God was actually trying to teach me what the devil is going to do soon to the world. Before it started to happen to everyone, I was being exposed to it personally, where, the devil would use humans that are possessed to do behaviors around me to signal what they're going to do in the future very soon. And now all of a sudden it's all over the news. So before all this stuff was in the news, I was seeing this, is what I'm saying, before it actually started to happen to others. God reserved, the devil to do that around me so I would see it. And when it happens now I understand. Okay, so this sign or this episode is going to talk about animals and pests, how the devil is going to start using them. So obviously animals are animals, pests are pests. They enter places that they're attracted to, like food, etc., a dirty place. Sometimes animals are stray. Obviously they live in this world, they run around, they go places. Okay, you obviously know then at some point you might see animals in your home or in the street or scaring the hell out of you. Okay, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the devil doing it, okay? So there's going to be a lot of strange situations where animals will just pop up where you are. Your home, your neighborhood, every street you walk on. When you're driving, they'll constantly be there. And then the animals, some of them are going to be ones you're used to, ones you wouldn't technically think you shouldn't see, like cats and dogs and raccoons. Maybe raccoons you think like, what the hell? Okay, but you're going to... and what the hell is not a cuss word, okay? It's just hell. If anyone who's sort of uncomfortable when you heard that. Okay, anyways, you're going to see that a lot more. So what happened was, when these demons were following me, this is a while back, it's still happening to me now, because now it's actually something they're going to keep using against me until God stops them. But before other people were seeing this nationally in the country and overall, globally, I was seeing demons possess raccoons and cats and dogs and follow me around using them. And then they would use witchcraft to send this huge energy of fear to my body. So my stomach, my heart, my throat would all be, like shaking, or, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of those animals, nor am I afraid of these demons, but the body is being attacked with magic to attack you with that emotion of fear. They're sending the emotion to me. They're doing something to the body, attacking it with fear. So anytime you see something that normally you wouldn't be afraid of, right? Usually just a human, usually just a criminal. Humans are usually brave in their own way. Everyone has their own level. Or just you see dogs and cats. Obviously, people use them as pets. I don't like the word pet as if you own them. They're animals, they're companions. Okay, you don't own them. Only God owns animals. So, anyways, because they're not property, they're not an object. Anyways, you're gonna see animals like that you're comfortable with usually, that you had as companions, but now animal companions, now they're gonna just send you this huge fear in your body when you see them. Okay, it's gonna just be a natural emotion of fear. The fear is just doesn't it's not the usual fear like, oh, what if it bites me? Okay, that's the devil or the demon in that animal using witchcraft to attack you. Okay, using their powers. Demons only have specific limited powers. Okay, they want you to think they have such a diverse power. No, they really just use witchcraft or magic to do almost everything in the world. Even if they want to commit a crime in a store like theft, they're gonna use a human who's possessed, because any human who does bad behavior is possessed. Okay, end of story. You're not gonna do bad things and not be possessed. You're always possessed, because you got possessed because you became bad in your heart. Envy and hatred entered. Then they have the legal right to possess you from God. Okay, so any human who does anything bad is possessed. You get me? The demon's already with them. So they have that sort of quality. When you see them, their demon will send you this huge fear to your body. Okay, and you're like, what the hell? What kind of fear is this? You're not even someone who's afraid technically, because they're using magic. Okay, so don't ever let the way your body is reacting ever make you uncomfortable. Don't ever believe it. You're supposed to stay calm and be relaxed and think of a way to protect yourself. Okay, don't ever be a coward and freak out and run away. Of course, you should walk away from situations. I just mean, like, don't be a coward, okay? And don't actually believe in that fear, okay? So evil humans are weaker than you. No evil can ever be stronger than a good person, or anyone even in that situation who's evil too. Always the one trying to do harm is weak, okay? Don't ever be scared of them. They just use magic to send you this huge fear to your body. They hope, it freezes your body. That's why people complain of being frozen, or just running like flight. They can't think straight, because it's not the natural fear God created in us. Okay, it's another one. It's magic they use when they want to do rape, murder, theft. They send you this huge fear to your body. You can't think straight. Okay, so just understand it's always spiritual. Then when humans are committing crime, and always pray that moment, seek refuge in God Almighty, whether it's animals or humans trying to do something bad towards you, and stay calm and think of a way to protect yourself. Attack them in a certain way that, would be protective for you, like, as long as they're knocked out of your way, you can leave. Don't go as far as to then try to murder them or anything, because you're not in a world that thinks that's okay. You don't want to put yourself in jail or prison, okay? So, not world, but like, you're not in a world where the governments think that's okay and they act like God, okay? So just do what you need to do to protect yourself, and always avoid using, aggression, and just get out of the way. But there's a lot of prayer you can use, and really God will answer you, okay? Sometimes it's just one of those free will situations where you're going to have to do it yourself and protect yourself. Yeah, you're going to have to deal with it. But sometimes, really, if you just say, oh, God, please protect me from their evil. If you say that inside your mind, don't talk, that human will put his head down and leave, okay? So do that a lot. Do that for protection, whether it's animals or humans. Seek refuge in God first, and then you're gonna have to do what you need to do, okay? But at least you relied on God first. You're gonna feel better. Okay, so I would see, demons using animals to try to intimidate me, coming to places. This was when I was homeless too, like maybe if I was in this sort of bush area, or like these sort of nature like places that I would leave society, I would see them coming there, because the demon stalks me, it follows me everywhere I go. So it can just find me, okay? So, and then it would try to scare you that it can attack you or whatever, but God doesn't give them the power to use animals to attack me. So God was just trying to teach me. You get me? What their purpose is. That, you know, demons have always possessed animals, but now they're going to possess them to actually come on to society and actually start harassing people, attacking people, creating disturbance. Some of them are not going to touch anyone, but they're just creating disturbance, you know, like fear. The animals, some of them will be really creepy and really like the ones you wouldn't want to see. They're just, they scare the hell out of you because they're just not the ones we're used to. Exactly. And they obviously would not come into society so easily. They're not over there in the trees, you know, they have far away places that they're located in or they're locked away. That's what's going to happen. Since it's demons doing it, they're going to find a way to release them and bring them to the daily society, okay? So you're going to start freaking out, okay, for that reason. Understand this is spiritual warfare. This is not something that's just happening randomly, okay? Because then it wouldn't be so abundant. It wouldn't happen at this time that humans are already suffering from other problems, like the spiritual warfare of COVID being created to create housing and jobs problems and financial attack and people losing, you know, their lives. And all this stuff is from the devil, okay? He's plotted and plotted all these sort of few decades in the past, and now he's unleashing the attacks on the human race. That's why bad things are happening day after day. You see, it's happened day after day because these were plans that were being plotted by the devil for so long, and he's just unleashing it all at once. So you're not gonna take a break, okay? You just think it's COVID making you poor now. No, horrible things will keep happening, keep happening. They're just gonna keep getting worse because it's not humans, okay, that ever do evil or cause suffering. The devil is always behind it. He's just using humans who are evil, who are possessed. So for that reason, it's never gonna have this quality of like taking a break, you know, because it's just the way the devil wants it to go that it's gonna go because he has control over those humans who are causing you the suffering, okay, like those in government. So don't expect any rationale to come in, okay? Don't expect any sort of something to stop them. No, nothing's gonna stop them. The world is about to end soon, so things are just gonna get worse, okay? But good things are gonna happen at the same time. Don't be too scared. God is gonna bring a lot of spiritual wisdom. You know, He's using a lot of people to teach you things. I'm being used to teach you things. Other people are being used to teach you things. Everyone, God gives them what He wants to teach them, okay? Some of them, they were very sinful and evil themselves, but God guided them, and now they're calling people to change. So God is just going to do a lot of things like that, really wonderful things, calling people to Him, even though they don't know His correct religion, even though they fight over which religion is His identity. Still, the basic morality, at least you guys can come back to that. And then, humans will start to hopefully seek knowledge and research and stop being so obsessed with preachers and religion and thinking they're supposed to be submissive to that and actually seek God themselves. That's what I want you to do. Ask God to guide you to the truth. Even if you do realize that Islam is the truth, still, I want you to ask Him, where's the corruption? Which parts are the false? Because this religion is heavily corrupted. It's extremely unhealthy and unsafe for anyone. I wouldn't even want people to convert to it right now. I just don't know what to hope for you then, because I still obviously want you to worship your Lord. So just understand, this is the correct religion. And it's so similar to the Christianity because that was the original Islam. It just got corrupted, okay? And this one got corrupted again when it came back. So ask God to give you the truth, okay? Ask Him for guidance. And you already know deep in your heart, in your conscience, anything you would say is evil and harmful and abusive and discriminatory and strange, such as sexism to the female, that's not from God, okay? That's the sexism the devil made, okay? God would never promote that nonsense. He wouldn't just hate one gender altogether. That doesn't make sense. We're all, His creation, okay? God only hates evil. Okay, so I would then also see, these raccoons always harassing me. No matter how many times I prayed and prayed and prayed, I commanded the demon to leave. It would not leave me alone. It was like for 2 hours. When I just ignored it mentally and just disengaged from it emotionally, then it left. The thing felt so confused and tired, like the demon was just thinking, oh, I don't have your attention anymore. So I understand a lot of these animals, they're using them, these demons, to get your attention, to get you to react, to get you to give so much energy, because demons steal your energy that way. Energy is how you feel. So don't give too much energy to them, okay? Just stand at a spot away from the animal, so that, it can't run after you, because anytime you walk, their demon is going to follow you, it's going to stalk you, and it wants to perpetrate more fear in you that it can attack you. So stop. Seek refuge in God and just stop. Don't walk, because it's going to follow you. Then it's going to get confused. The animal is going to be like, what should I do? It's going to get confused because it's being used, right? And then it's just going to leave. Let it leave. Let it go first. If it's following you in the street, or anywhere. Just let it go. Don't make eye contact with it because that gives it attention. Join me on the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah on Spotify. The End of the World series, or Signs of the End of the World series, part 3. Okay, so this is part 3 or episode 3 of the things that you're going to start seeing currently in the world that started happening recently, but before it started happening in this country, the US, as well as it's going to start happening more globally now, I was already seeing it way before everyone else because for many reasons that I can't tell anyone, and for some reasons that I can. I already talk about this on my healing guides overall. I have been having demons follow me before I was even born till now. So God uses them to teach me a lot of spiritual wisdoms, and I am teaching the amount that I'm allowed to teach you right now. There's some I can't teach you, and it's encryption that I can only give you. So some of these signs, I came up with it based on what God showed me. And now when I start seeing those things on the news that God taught me it's going to start happening to the world, now I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's why you were showing that stuff to me. I feel sort of sorry for people that they have to endure that as well, because I thought that was just something that God will allow the devil to only do to harass me, but he's going to unleash that into the world now, and it's just going to be something a lot of humans will have to suffer from. So this is part 3. Do listen to part 1 and part 2. I was talking about the global problems that are happening in part 1, and then 2, animals being used and pests. I didn't give examples of pests because I'm going to do that in this episode. Okay, so demons are the ones, unleashing this new level of spiritual warfare attack. This is like level 1. And then there's going to be a couple more levels, and then the world is going to end. Okay, so things are still kind of be stable for a while. There's going to be a lot of good happening, a lot of people coming back to God, a lot of people, God is guiding them away from their sin and their immoralities, like homosexuality and pedophilia, all that disgusting perversion. It's just perversion, okay? It's nothing new. The devil likes to create names so he can confuse you. So anyways, a lot of human beings are going to come back to God, okay, from all that nonsense like LGBT and all that stuff, all that filth that the devil created to possess them and use them. And those are humans who are molested and raped as children, but they just don't want to tell you because they don't like that connection, because then they know you're going to say they need help. And obviously they don't want to stop being immoral and evil and perverted. So they're going to attack you every time you say that's why they're this way. They're going to deny it and say, no, etc. I talk about the psychology of perversions in another series, the way God taught me, by using humans who are possessed, who are many of them, these human beings, to teach me their psychology. So since their demons harass me every day, I obviously learned their psychology, because that's why God made them harass me. So I'm gonna, teach that in another series, the psychology of perversions. Okay, you're gonna understand the causes of homosexuality and incest and bestiality and pedophilia and all this weird stuff that's coming out every day and just getting worse and worse. Okay, so this is about the Signs of the End of the World series. So let me come back to that. So pest is something that demons are going to start using. So I want you to understand it's not world, okay? The world is obviously, then it would have happened every day, okay? Obviously, there's a reason why these things are just popping up randomly, okay? Things are just happening randomly because, okay, this is an attack, okay? It's an attack, okay? God won't give the devil permission to do this all the time. Otherwise, humans would suffer all the time. So demons are the ones possessing animals and pests, okay? When they just unnaturally come to your home, or they behave in a way that you don't understand how they found their way to that environment, okay? And since a lot of people are in their homes now, that gives demons the chance to really do a lot of horrible things in the streets. Since there's no one there, they'll only bring out the worst of the humans who are possessed. The majority of the human race is possessed, okay? So those who look decent and educated and healthy and have, yeah, they're possessed too, okay? It's just that they're not at a level of being criminals technically, okay? They have different levels. They choose what they allow themselves to indulge in. So the worst of the humans that are possessed, their demons are going to then use them to commit actual crime in the street. While others, the most dangerous ones, are the narcissists and the psychopaths, and they're going to hide it. They're covert. They don't ever go out and do it publicly. So understand that, evil has two sides. One is covert and one is direct, okay? The most dangerous one is the covert one, the one that's hiding, obviously. That's why they're hiding, because what they do is more dangerous, such as rape and molestation. So they like to get married and pretend to be normal males and females, and then they rape the children, molest the children. The children grow up, and now they become the shooters and the murderers and the homosexuals and the pedophiles. And you get the point. All these horrible immoralities coming out is something these humans developed as children. Okay, no, it's very rare for them to develop that as adults, because humans at that point would usually say no to immoralities. They just wouldn't really get corrupted into it. They get corrupted into other things like maybe alcohol and drugs, fine, but they're not going to really go against their nature. Usually that's something that had to be twisted as children, which is why the devil is so obsessed with spreading LGBT to children, because that's the time he knows he can corrupt those humans who normally, if they were given a choice, would choose that filth if they wanted to. Obviously there's human beings God created that are just naturally righteous and pure, and they're never going to select evil, no matter whether you come to them as children or adults. So obviously he's not going to go after them, but the devil can actually identify the type of human you are. He can tell if you're someone that actually would want to be evil if you were taught evil, and he can look at others and be like, oh, those are the people of God. He just knows that they carry energy, okay? They carry light. And those are the people he's just going to harass, okay? He's not going to try to make them evil, because that's just not what they're sort of going to ever become. Okay, so that's why sometimes you see that the humans who are targeted to become certain types of things like homosexuals, you can see those males are usually very sensitive. They have, you know what I mean? And the ones who usually do the rape and molestation are more the sort of ones that are sort of non-sensitive. And that's because the devil is, observing that gender and really picking them according to what he thinks would fit the one that should be abused and the one that should do the abusing. And obviously it doesn't matter if they're sensitive or not. I'm just saying it's just more easier for him to go after those boys who are more sensitive, okay? Because what he wants to do is then connect it to that sensitivity. He wants to make it seem like that's the reason they're like that. No, they chose to be like that. They chose to be evil, okay? They could have said no. There's billions who said no, that the devil came to teach that nonsense to, but they're like, hell no. And they're healthy men today, okay? So I'm just saying he likes to target certain human beings of a certain personality or energy type, because then he wants to one day connect it to that, so that he makes it seem like it's actually God. He wants to insult God with it. Okay, I'm sorry, I kind of went off topic, but pest is something that I had to see a lot. Demons using pests to harass me, to scare you, to try to intimidate you. I would, since I know it's a demon, read prayers on it and command it to leave. And most of the time it would leave, and sometimes the demon would be the ones who don't leave. People call that stubborn demons. So these jinn is the Arabic word for spirits. Not demon, because demon is like the bad one. Just spirits overall, whether they're good or bad. So these jinn, or these spirits, basically would possess cockroaches and come up to me. It's just me, okay? The entire place that I'm in, whether it's a beautiful library or clean Starbucks or any place that you would sit and do, like work, because I'm, trying to write and stuff. Or even in my home, it doesn't matter where, okay? It would only come to my little seating place where I'm sitting. It wouldn't go to anyone else, okay? So that's how I know it's a demon following me. The thing doesn't act like a pest. It doesn't move around, okay? And I throw something at it, I don't hit it. I just throw something in its sort of direction to make it run. It doesn't jump and run. It would just stand there. And there's this horrible fear that it uses, because it's using magic. This huge fear it sends my body and my mind, okay? Like the mind is being attacked with so much fear, and I can feel it in my ears. Since I'm someone who has spiritual consciousness, I can tell what demons are doing in the spiritual world. I can actually tell where in my body demons are attacking, like when they're whispering to your ears, I can feel it. Because in Islam, we actually know how spirits or jinn actually, or demons, the ones who are bad, attack us, the human race. There's a demon with every human, and there's an angel with every human, okay? The angel is writing down all your behavior, all the things you do all day. So there's a book of record, okay, on you. Everything you say and do is being written down by that angel. And then the demon, their job is to whisper to your ears, the job they gave themselves, to whisper to your ears to always, do bad things, okay? So if you're a good person who's moral, they're not going to tell you to do bad things, because that's not your thing. Okay, so they're going to just try to get you to be lazy, distracted, confused. They're going to send you bad emotions like depression, anxiety. They're going to just hurt you in that way. And then they're going to obviously try to get you to do little sins, the sin that doesn't make you a bad person, evil person. Just, those types of things. And for people who could be sort of hateful and envious and actually turn into things like perversion and sexism and racism and harassing others and that sort of hateful type of human, if you're like that, then they're going to tell you to do those things: hurt people, lie, gossip, cheat, sabotage someone's job, lie about your neighbor, harass this person, insult, mock this person. Okay, they're going to tell you to do bad things like that. Go do drugs, go do alcohol, go sell your body and be promiscuous in clubs and bars, all that weird stuff God hates. Okay, but obviously there's no spiritual connection to God anymore. This wicked society that's far from God is obviously going to tell you those things are normal. Okay, because there is no connection to God anymore. Okay, humans have just started to treat themselves like the example of who they should be listening to. Okay, they treated themselves as basically the God. Okay, so anyways, so the demon, I can feel it when it's actually talking to my ears and it's sending me all these evil thoughts, all these fearful thoughts, what the bug is gonna do. With some of them are really creepy looking pests. I never even knew God created that, such diverse amount of pests. My goodness, things are, woo, my goodness, like, you should be scared of God, okay? Like, yes, you already know he's God, but you should really be scared of him, okay? The amount of pests he created, the size, it's like every sort of measurement you could ever make, right? Go from the lowest to the highest. There's a pest and an animal, not an animal, sorry. There's a pest that God created of that size. It's insanity, okay? So you don't even sometimes know they're crawling on your clothes or whatever because they're so tiny, okay? So a God who is that detailed with that species, imagine, imagine just how great he is. He's able to monitor and know all of them, what they're doing, what they're feeling, what's going on, what's happening to them, and then animals, and then humans, and then angels, and then spirits, all these species and creations. There's just endless amounts of them. You can't even count them. And all of them, he's aware of what they're doing. That's an almighty, powerful creator. So you better not be, accusing him of being the sort of dumb, strange, illogical, sort of human like or something that was created like being, that actually believes in putting females down and telling you to dominate each other and all this sexism and perversion that you see in religion. That's from the devil, okay? A God that powerful would never um, treat, the human race, which would be one of his best creations, that he would never treat them like something weird and strange that should dominate each other. They're equal to each other, okay? We're only better than each other in our morality, our character, our heart, our purity. That's what makes us better than each other. We're just physically designed different. That's all. Just like animals are designed differently. But no one's superior than anyone because you're male or because you're this or because you're that race or whatever. That's from the devil, okay? Anyways, these pests, if I recite prayers on them, it doesn't work. Because the devil, the demon possessing them is trying to actually act like it can be affected. It wants you to actually believe it has power above your prayers, okay? But that's because it's not there to do any harm. It's just trying to intimidate you. So that's why it won't leave. It has the strength to not leave. So even when I throw something at the pest, it won't run away. Okay, but here's the funny thing about these demons, okay? Maybe it's just me. Maybe you humans can test it and see if it works for you. Anytime I actually get pissed off and I'm like, this, you piece of, I don't cuss, okay? I would say something else after piece of, I wouldn't say the bad word. You annoying whatever. I just get mad and then that emotion literally makes the pest run away. That's how you know it's a demon, because technically the pest can't feel that, right? So the demon thinks it can mess with me, okay? And when I get pissed off, it actually can feel it and it runs away. If I throw something at it now with actual emotion, like you're fearless, okay? You're brave. Then the pest gets affected. That demon actually runs away now, okay? So understand when animals or pests or even humans are acting way too bold, they're acting like they're not going to leave you alone when they're trying to act like threatening or criminal. That's a demon that moment sort of trying to make them appear to you as if this one is different, okay? You need to have that emotion of rage, of not rage, but more like anger that is more like just brave come out of you versus like, oh, I'm going to physically beat you up. You don't ever want to put yourself in that situation. Then they're going to feel your emotion. They're scared of how you feel, basically, because they're sensitive to other people's feelings. Evil humans are very sensitive to others' feelings. It's like the devil, okay? So when they see you actually getting angry, they can feel it and they run away. Same thing with animals and pests. Anytime I really got pissed, they ran away. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of pests in your homes, a lot of pests everywhere you go, a lot of pests sometimes circling people and attacking people all over the news now. Understand? It's spiritual. Listen to the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah on Spotify. Signs of the End of the World, Part 4. Okay, so here's example number 4 that, we're going through a new level of spiritual warfare that is signaling the first stage or first level of the end of the world. So these are just the first phases, okay? More horrible things will have to take place for the world to actually end. We still have a lot of time to go. And you can tell that by the type of human beings who are on Earth right now. There's going to be, you can't see them. The really, really moral people on this Earth, they'll pop up here and there, but you're not going to really see them in society because they're so rare. So you're just going to see average human beings who lack morality, and they're just, trying to be fake humans in order to survive and not look weird, obviously. But, since we still have that sort of human beings who are more okay and some who are really good morally, the world is not going to end now. You get me? Because when the world is going to end, the worst of the worst is going to remain. There's not going to be any righteous people of God around. No one. They're just going to, it's going to be like all the humans today, like narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, all the evil humans who are already pretending to be decent today and normal people. They're all going to just start exposing their character and doing what they want in society. Okay. It's going to be like a lawless city like that, because the humans who you would say would stop them are kind of gonna disappear. Their time is up. Okay, they died naturally. Okay, so since there's gonna be more evil, more demons using those humans to harm each other, abuse each other, all the righteous people will have to die first. um Okay, so the world is kind of okay now, because there's a lot of good people in the world today who you would say have good morality, and the righteous are very few. I don't mean good people when I say righteous. I mean really righteous. You just don't know who they are. Okay, they're not in the religious sector, because today all religions are promoting perversions and sexisms and weird stuff about God. So that's not the righteous. Okay, the righteous are people God would choose to usually come and help you as leaders, like past prophets and the past great men and women of God. I mean, those are the people that one or two or three will pop up every now and then, okay, to guide you and help you. But then they're just gonna, when their time is up and they die naturally, they're not gonna keep popping up anymore, okay? And then that's really when the world is about to end. God will just leave the weirdos to each other, and then they're just gonna all be destroyed at once, and they're just gonna die naturally in their own ways as well. God knows how He's gonna do that. So there's many signs that Islam and Christianity gives. Some are true and some are false. Obviously, you're just gonna have to leave it to God to really give you wisdom on that. Okay, so what's gonna happen is something that I've obviously been talking about a lot on my healing guides, which is the fact that God opened my eyes to see that the majority of the human race, I would say in the 90 percentage, are demonically possessed. Um, they all just pretend to be, like, I would say 50% pretends to be normal, decent people. They go and become religious preachers. They become lawyers, doctors, nurses, judges. They get those types of jobs, and they're not gonna obviously go and do they're not gonna be drug trafficking or whatever. Okay, they're gonna pretend to be human. They're gonna pretend to be decent, but they're highly harmful individuals. They're narcissists, psychopaths. They do rape and molestation and murder, to the children and families. They do it behind the scene. A lot of their crimes is covert. Like human trafficking, all the humans doing that. Some of them are literally in your political office. Okay, some of them are in your government. Some of them are in your city. But then they go into hiding, and then they take on a different sort of way of trying to protect themselves as they travel to those locations. Usually it's underground, and then they are now doing what you would think they're doing. They're harming human beings like an object, doing filth after filth. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. A lot of the evil human beings in the world that I'm talking about, that I'm saying are possessed, to you are these decent people, okay? Because they're covert, they're hiding it, okay? Wolf in sheep's clothing is the first way the devil has learned to go, because when the world first started and the devil was more direct, he just boom commits murder, using this possessed human. And when I say devil, I don't just mean the first devil, because obviously he's not possessing all those humans that are possessed. I just mean demon. Okay, so this demon, these demons basically, they obviously, when they possess the first human, and they commit murder, for example, or something. They learned, that there was this sort of big um, outlash, right? Everyone's gonna go after them. Even evil humans like to pretend to be moral and go after you if you do something bad in society. They'll pretend to like hate you or whatever, even though they're happy with that, because they have to pretend. Okay, so they'll never learn, therefore, due to that sort of big consequence of humans who are good trying to stop you right away. He learned to then become wolf in sheep's clothing. He learned the covert way is the way to go. And that's how today, all the evil is happening in the world. It's usually covert, it's within the families. The children are always the first target. And then they grow up and usually become the same criminals. Very sadly, the cycle continues. So, due to that cycle, um, humans getting possessed also due to that, because they have all chosen to become evil like their parents and the surroundings they're around. There's going to be this sort of thing that a lot of you will start to see now that I was already seeing the past few years, which is really strange and weird. People are gonna come out into society. Okay, some of them look like zombies, some of them just look strange. They behave the same way, they look the same way, they dress very similarly, very shabby, very weird looking, very, lowly and poor looking and ugly and strange. um, Others will be, and those are the ones usually roaming around the streets. Many of them are going to be homeless, etc., while the others are going to be more like in corporate, and they're going to behave the same way. You're going to start to get confused, like, what the hell? um, if you ever go on YouTube and you look at corrupt police officers harassing society overall, the way they approach people, try to get people arrested, ask for their ID. If you observe those human beings, because usually humans are focused on the situation, like what's happening back and forth. No, look at their body, okay? Those females all look similar, regardless of their ethnicity or race. They look very similar. Body language, facial expression, body type, personality, sort of like it's like a personality coming out of them. They look very similar. They're always trying to be like a man, and they're not just trying to be, a healthy, strong human who's trying to protect people, as a public citizen. And instead, is those females trying to actually act like a man. They have a problem with their femininity. Okay, so that's why a lot of them are not even going to be police, because they actually want to protect people. It's actually someone who has issues psychologically, and then they're always trying to be like a man. You know why? It's not her, really. Technically it is her, but to some degree it's the demon possessing her that's trying to act like a man. Okay, it's that demon trying to make her behave like that. So you're gonna see that she's not normal. She's not a normal female who's just a cop. She's right working way too hard to act all powerful and aggressive, and it's just weird, and you get irritated. Because a female should be the way she is. She shouldn't be trying to act like a man, and a man should be the way he is, and he should not be trying to act like a female. Okay, and you're gonna also see that dynamic, that the females will talk more, act more, sort of trying to act tough and scary more, while the male officers will be more quiet. You're gonna be like, what? That's the demon. Okay, they're creating that dynamic. Okay, they want you to usually put your guard down when they're using the female. You might argue more with her, because the evil in when females become evil, the devil uses them to be more manipulative. Okay, even though all evil humans are manipulative, it's just, okay, you get me. It's just what they do. Okay, so that's why they're more like witches. They go into that sort of stuff. They're more manipulative. They're more behind the scene. Um, okay, so they sometimes want you to think she's just arguing with you. It's not. It's a possessed human. It's not healthy for you to argue with them, okay? If they're police or anything like that, don't argue with them. Then they're going to escalate, and boom, now all these males who are just walking around, putting their head down, they want you to put your guard down, because they're the male, right? You would protect yourself more from them if they were acting crazy and hostile. Now there's this pattern of them not doing that. They want you to think, everything's okay. And then they're going to attack you all at once and arrest you now, okay? So very similar patterns, if you observe the police, is going to happen, because these are strange people that are appearing due to the possession. The demons are acting like that, okay? Their faces is just so hateful. It looks like an animal if you look at these females and these males, okay? And then the the males who usually take on these jobs, right, like police, are also similar to that female that I just told you about, that usually takes this job trying to be someone she's not, trying to be like a man, trying to be all tough and powerful, as if she's a god also. That quality of evil is obviously just evil, so it's also in the male. Um, And in the male, it manifests in you seeing him usually being someone maybe that was bullied when they were younger, or someone that has issues with their masculinity, someone that has issues with their sort of ability to just be able to take charge of their job in a healthy way, because they're not even doing the job because they like the job, obviously. They're just trying to use it for power, okay, for sort of like this weird dominance they made themselves believe, that the devil made them believe. So you're going to see them always pumping up the situation, hyping up the situation. You guys just think they're bad people. No, it's the devil pushing those types of humans who have those types of weird mental problems, those weird insecurities, those weird, qualities. A lot of them are covert homosexuals. They're hiding it. They're obviously highly perverted. I'm just trying to give you one example of that perversion. Perversion is many types. And they're going to try to, therefore, pretend to be normal and not perverted. So it comes out sometimes. They become sort of extreme to certain people. Maybe that person triggers them because they can tell maybe this person's a person of God, etc. So their demon is what's getting triggered. The human is usually just a puppet. But sometimes the human is able to also feel triggered by certain people because of the qualities they have of immorality in themselves, the sort of lack of masculinity this male really has. But he's working so hard to make himself appear like a healthy masculine male. So for that reason, it's going to explode on him. He's gonna act crazy and childish, and sometimes many times maybe feminine in certain ways, and people are just gonna mock him and laugh at him, and and then he's gonna get even worse. You get me? He's gonna get even more explosive. They're weak, okay, these males and females who are sadly taking these important jobs as police and government workers and politicians. A lot of them are the homosexuals, and that's why they're spreading this LGBT nonsense, because they're taking that area of the government in order to promote their nonsense. But they're gonna get married and have kids and act like they're regular people, so that then people don't say, "Oh, these humans who've chosen to become perverted and immoral against yourself and God and humanity, you've chosen to be this way. You're the one going there to promote yourself." They don't want people to say that because they want to make it seem like normal people are supporting them. You get me? So they're gonna pretend to be normal people and just support themselves. They're the actual homosexuals and pedophiles. They can act like they're normal people and they're supporting those types of human beings. No, it's just them. They're just getting married in order to hide it, which is actually so scary, because past human history, these highly harmful, perverted human beings like homosexuals were always in the human race, obviously. It's just perversion. You would agree perversion, therefore, would always be around, since evil has always been around. It's just that obviously homosexuality and all this stuff got introduced at a certain time, such as the prophet Lot or Lut's time. So it wasn't, from the first beginning of human civilization. Murder was actually the first sin that was committed by Cain and Abel. Okay, not both of them, but the bad one. Okay, anyways, what I'm trying to say is that these types of human beings have always been around. And it's really scary, because that means a lot of good people and a lot of healthy, normal people were married to them, right, of the opposite gender. But those humans didn't know their spouse was going around doing that filthy stuff with the same gender, or harming children. It's so sad. And then they come to them and do sexual things with them. That's disgusting, because they're using the same body parts. Okay, so humans today should be happy that at least they're in a time where these humans are at least exposing themselves and showing you their perversions and immoralities and filthy things that they have chosen to associate with. And you should be happy, because now you can protect yourself from these males and females who are not human. Okay, because they're not human if they're perverted. They're predators to themselves and to others. They call them DL as well, like down low men, or females too, I guess. Just humans who are homosexual, but they're pretending to be normal. Okay, they don't even look like it sometimes. The devil works really hard to confuse you, but you can tell because God alerts you. There's this sort of gut in your body that tells you, "Hey, get away from this human." Okay, when you're the opposite gender and maybe they're trying to act interested in you. Okay, so they're gonna hide it. Then they're always obsessed with marriage and children. That's how you know as well that they're obviously working so hard to cover something up. They're the ones who usually try to push females to have a lot of kids, because they just want to use her when they're the male, like that, since they're sexist as well. So be careful of that. So there's gonna be a lot of strange humans appearing in society. They all look the same, act the same. Certain sectors of them, like the ones in the police, look the same, act the same. The ones in the society walking around will act the same. The same crimes will happen. They call them a Karen right now as well. That's just the humans who are gang stalkers to people who are being followed by demons. So it's just humans who are possessed, but their demons have chosen to create like a persona for them, and they created multiple personas, and each group will behave a certain way, and they're gonna come out and make things really uncomfortable for the human race. Understand, it's spiritual, and they're possessed. Join the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah on Spotify. Signs of the End of Time series, part 5. Okay, so let's continue. Me sharing examples of what God has showed me as to what this new spiritual warfare is of the devil, this new attack he's doing currently in our decade, where, he's been plotting and preparing the right type of human beings that he has made into corrupted and evil and possessed. And they pretend to be normal people. Obviously, you're not going to think that's who I'm talking about, is the average human in society today, sadly, versus someone crazy over there that you can identify. These humans are working for devil, okay? They are agents, not agents, sorry, puppets to the devil. And they just think they're sinful and being bad themselves, but they don't know they're being used in a bigger agenda. Okay, so do join me on other series in the Healing Guides where I talk about spiritual wisdoms. I talk about me being followed by demons since before I was even born and why God did that. There's many reasons. I go through something called gang stalking, which humans who are possessed are used to harass me and monitor me every day. It's a new witchcraft, so that's why Muslims and Christians don't know about it. So jinn are basically getting this power. Jinn is the Arabic word for spirits, whether they're good or bad. So yeah, I'm talking about a lot of demonic things that happen that you guys don't know about, how it's affecting you in this world today. And some of you do know how basically then you can understand that we're not just going through a difficult time as human beings. It's actually a spiritual attack on the human race, and things are going to get worse from here on. You guys just think, based on past history, that that's all it is. You get me? Like, oh, maybe it's war that they're plotting. No, it's very rare for war to even happen, to be honest. It's going to take a long time. I guarantee you, it's going to seethe and seethe and seethe. Other horrible things are going to happen, more internal things. The countries themselves are going to just have internal problems. You get me? Because usually it was that country versus this country, right? But it's going to be more internal now. The actual average human in society is going to be attacking each other, okay? Because that's just what the devil wants now, okay? So we're like level 1 of the end of the world. We're not there. There's more levels that have to take place, and then the world will actually end. And you're going to see those bigger signs, and you're all not going to be there. Obviously, you're going to be dead before that time. And you don't want to be there anyway, because things are going to get more harmful at that time. Because only the worst of God's creation will be there. And obviously, the worst of God's creation today are the majority, highly sinful. They're just covert and hide it. They're the rapists and pedophiles and murderers and, liars and narcissists. They're hiding it, They're going to expose themselves later on. They're not going to hide it anymore, okay? And you might be wondering, me talking about pedophiles, and you're like, well, your religion, Islam, said your prophet was a pedophile. That's the corruption in Islam, okay, that I'm talking about. Perversions and sexisms is the corruption that Muslims right now are not going to tell you. They're misguided. 2, 80 something percent of them are possessed. Okay, they're evil as hell, so they don't care. They're perverted themselves. They could care less. They're literally working for Satan in ways that you can't even tell. I've been harassed by Muslims even more than I was harassed by non-Muslims, to be honest. And I'm Muslim, so it's because they're demon. Okay, they're evil. They just pretend to be normal. Their demons can't hide it though. When they see me, they manifest. So manifest means, the demon takes control, or the shaitan takes control, and they harass me using their human. So anyways, because they feel exposed, okay, I can see that this human is evil. I talk about my story, so do listen to my testimony. But yeah, as I was saying, the religious preachers in Islam right now are the hypocrites that God is always warning about in the last scripture, the Quran, that we Muslims use. And sadly, therefore, you're not going to have an actual religious preacher tell you this is filth and all that stuff, the way a scholar or someone less than him, a preacher, would tell you, because they're actually, working for the devil. So I'm sorry. Sadly, that's just going to be what Muslims are going to have to suffer with for now. No one's going to ever come out and tell them what true morality is, and they could care less because they're not moral people themselves. But somewhere, there's obviously a small group that truly hates this stuff, and we don't know where they are, and they're just silent because they don't know what to do. They're outnumbered. But so I'm the first Muslim to actually tell you all the evil in this religion is actually from the devil and not from God himself. And it's the same God that sent down the original Bible. So we're not worshiping a new God. It's just that we're saying that's his original book. It got corrupted. He sent a new one, a new prophet. Jesus was also a prophet. That's what we're saying. But it's just that this religion also got corrupted. Muslims are not admitting it, and that's what's causing all the dysfunction. If they admitted it, took out the perversion and sexism, seek God for answers as to what's really going on, obviously the truth would have come down. But they don't want to, so obviously God will always do what he always does. He'll bring people to tell the truth, and he'll bring situations where he himself will reveal the truth. Only he knows how he's going to do that. I'm only being used right now to just give encryption. I don't have his permission to be specific right now. Okay, so the other signs at the end of the times is this huge mental sort of attack on the human race. I'm not going to call it mental health because I don't like that word. You're going to think it's mental illness and all that stuff. Mental illness doesn't exist, okay? The human beings who have highly harmful personality disorders like narcissistic personality disorder, psychopath, etc., even things like ADHD, gender dysphoria, even homosexuals, all these human beings are demonically possessed. Okay, that's their demon. Whatever persona, whatever personality that's coming out of them that you're like, that's something else. That is the demon, okay? How it's choosing to behave. Demons are normal too. They just choose to behave that way, okay? It's a behavior. They choose to be evil. They can just be normal too. So it's a behavior they choose to act like repetitively in a way that then it becomes like a persona or personality, okay? And that's what people might have like, oh, multiple personality disorder. That's just demons, okay? Multiple demons in them, or one acting different ways each time. And obviously, usually the opposite gender possesses the human. So if you're male, a female is usually going to possess you, which explains why the homosexual male is able to walk like, they're able to mimic the way a female walks, you know? They're able to mimic her sort of hand gesture. You get me? You're like, how did he do that? How did he develop it so well? Who did he learn it from? There's a female demon possessing him, okay? He doesn't have to learn. Okay, she's possessing his hand and doing it so well, okay? Because she's actually a female. It's just a different species. They're not fallen angels. They're a different species. They're created from fire. It's just that the devil is arrogant and wished he was an angel, and he lied and said that he was a fallen angel. And that's what I mean by, the Bible, the original one, the Torah, Gospels being the original books of God. It got corrupted, and this is what the devil did when he corrupted it. He lied about who he is, okay, his species. So it's a different species. That's why they have such a weird dynamic, and they look animals sometimes when you're seeing people who are possessed. Maybe they're praying and asking God to take the demon out of their body. Sometimes the behaviors and the gestures are sort of animalistic. Okay, it's just a demon, okay? They're not they're not serpents and snakes and any of that stuff, okay? That only God knows what they look like. It's just that they're trying to always behave in ways to manipulate and scare and intimidate the human race. So since you have never seen demons, don't create stories as to what they look like. Just understand everything that's not human, that's coming out of a human, is always the demon. Just simply limit it to them. So that humbleness is something that Islam teaches, to not talk about things you have not seen with your own eyes like that, like what a demon is. Because that's the devil trying to manipulate people, okay? They behave crazy inside a human body they're possessing. So you actually believe that's what's in them, okay? Like a snake this time, you know what I mean? It's not a snake. Okay, so anyways, that's just the manipulation. So humans actually believe that's what demons are. Okay, so a lot of mental problems, okay? So mental illness doesn't exist. You're either possessed by demons, and that's why you're not really human, and you're strange, and you have weird problems. Like you're saying you're something you're not. You say you like things that are against your nature, etc. Such as pedophile, they're liars, they're just perverts. But the other ones, like humans who just have depression, humans who just have anxiety, humans who just have, even like PTSD. You obviously develop it from real trauma situations, obviously sometimes, but then it just goes too far sometimes. You're like, why is the person not healing? It's trauma. It should go away at some point, because that's the demon torturing their mind using that, okay? Intrusive images, names, words, memories, flashbacks of you being abused in any way or harassed in any way. Humans who you have somehow treated you in a negative way, strangers or humans you knew, always their face, their image, their words, always intrusively popping up in your mind. All these things, depression, etc., are the mental oppression or the mental attack that I'm talking about right now. So there's going to be this huge attack on the human race. They've already been attacked with this from the demonic side, for many years, obviously, but now it's just going to be worse. Okay, demons are going to attack the human race with this nonsense even more. They're going to attack the human race more with mental oppression. I like that word instead of mental health. because that's something the devil created to make you not know that demons possess you and that demons have these powers when they possess you, in order to protect himself, since they're the demons who are possessing you. They don't want you to know they're causing it, because then you'd go to God to solve your problems, right? And obviously don't want you to find any way to find God. So they deleted that from human knowledge and just turned it into an actual illness in the brain. They made it seem like there's a mental illness thing. Okay, and then two, even Christians who might be like, or even Muslims today, the religious preachers, these are the hypocrites, okay? These are the ones who like to tell you some truth in order to then make you think they're really a good person, but then they'll lie at some point. And some could be ignorant, but they're really lying usually. They're gonna be like, yeah, I do believe in demonic possession. I do believe demons harass human beings. That's what they'll tell you. But then they'll tell you, but I also believe in mental illness. See, they're lying. So they're still gonna perpetuate that nonsense because they're possessed themselves and they have to hide the full truth from you. It's just in order to at least look decent enough to you, they have to at least agree there's such a thing as demonic oppression and possession. So oppression just means the mind is being harassed. Muslims call it waswas, or whispers in the brain, because demons they come from the species called jinn, created from fire. They have the power to whisper to our ears. They're the ones telling you evil thoughts. Anytime you're an immoral person, you get thoughts to do bad things. That's the demon telling you, okay, that voice in your head is not you, it's the demon. And then anytime you're just getting depressing thoughts, negative thoughts, bad thoughts, just to do little sin, but they're not sins that you would do if you're evil, which good people could struggle with. Okay, then they, not struggle with, sorry, good people could hear. Then that's also from the demon as well. Okay, anything you would say is not godly information, something you would hear from God, it's the demon saying that to you. Okay, and any good you ever hear in your mind is really from the angel that's with you, inspiring good in you. It's really from God Almighty sending you, that wisdom and that good through your conscience and through your gut. Okay, so all good comes from God, and the bad is really coming from the demon that he allowed to harass your mind. Okay, so suicidal thoughts, huge amounts of depression, huge amounts of anxiety, irrational emotions of anxiety in situations that are just normal. Even if you've never been traumatized in a situation or nothing happened, you're just going to wake up, go to work, or just go about your day, and you start developing this anxiety about that sort of pattern you have. Like every Monday you go outside, that you're just anxious as you go outside, but when you come home you feel better. Okay, so you're going to then isolate, right? So what's happening is that is two things. One, demons just harassing you, okay? They obviously want people to isolate and feel sad. Two, this is actually logical. You actually should be feeling depressed. It's because when you go outside, there's more evil in the world. The amount of humans walking around are possessed. Their spirits carry, obviously, dark energy, evil energy, huge, huge sin for billions of years that they've been on human civilization. These spirits have been around longer than you, committing more evil in the world than you. A lot of them have obviously committed rape and horrible things like that. So imagine the sin they carry, the energy that they carry. It's heavy. So when they possess a human, that's why a lot of people say, oh my God, energy vampires. I'm sensitive to energy. I can't handle this energy, etc. These people, they suck my energy. Okay, that's the demon in that human. Of course, as well as the human too, because they're evil too. They're going to also be like the spirit. They're going to have that bad energy to also absorb your energy too and make you sick. But you know what I mean? Sometimes the human is not trying to absorb your energy, they're just walking by. You're just going to get depressed from being around the average person in society today because they're possessed and their energy is harassing you. Their sort of emotions and thoughts and feelings are affecting you. Even if they're not looking at you, they're just walking by, because the demons in them will affect you, okay? And you are also a majority, since the majority of the human race is possessed. You're also possessed, I'm sure. And for that reason, you're also going to have that higher level of anxiety and depression and bad energy you carry, just sort of negative energy, because the demon possessing you is projecting that to you, okay? So understand that's what a life of sin causes. Smoking, alcohol, drugs, porn, being sexual before marriage, being promiscuous and hypersexual with multiple people of the opposite gender, being perverted in a higher level way, such as homosexuality, pedophilia, all these filthy things, incest, etc. Watching filthy things, human sacrifice, watching children getting raped and molested online, all these filthy things you're looking at. Okay, All that disgusting energy is what you carry. That's called depression now at a higher level than you can ever imagine, because that's the consequence of you being evil. Okay, you're gonna always feel like that. So leave sin, leave all those filthy things, leave bad things, you know what's bad, and leave the envy and the hatred that you have in your heart, harassing, hurting others any way, shape, or form, and get those demons out of your body using God.